Hello, everyone, and welcome to another day here at Live at the Waterhole. My name is Amy, and I will be with you for the first half of the show today. And we are starting off with the pool party in full swing here at Jamala. Some Ellies have already arrived to start cooling off. The heat is on, everyone. Looks like a very warm day here at Madikwe Game Reserve in South Africa. And we are looking forward to all the animals that are going to head down to the water today to cool down, get something to drink, and perhaps treat us to something special. Also, a very happy Valentine's Day to everyone around the world watching. Whether you are beginning, in the middle of, or at the end of the day of love, I wish you all a very happy day indeed, and plenty of love to go around here at Live at the Waterhole and WildEarth in general. Remember that you can chat with me and say hello. Tell me who you are, where you are watching from. I would love to hear from you as always. And let's chat, ask your questions, and I'll be here to answer them to the best of my ability, as well as answer anything else that you'd like to know, or if you'd simply just want to say hello, I'd love to hear from you as well. You can do that on the WildEarth app on the website. You can submit your questions. Otherwise, if you're watching on YouTube in the chat stream, or join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth. Nice to hear some vocal activity already. And there is a tiny little one here by Mom. I think they might be on their way to the water slowly. Oh, and it's just plopped it down for a bit of a rub in the sand. Oh, and then one just slid into the water. Oh man, I love elephants at the waterhole. Oh, little guy, you are so brave. Oh, and down you go. Amazing. Oh, Randall, I agree with you. You say you hope we get to see some cute interactions for Valentine's Day. Well, starting off with that little one going down into the water was very, very cute already. Tadio and I were chatting before the show of what cute things we were hoping to maybe see today. And I'm hoping for a little pair of birdies, maybe some doves. They always look so cute when they cuddle up next to each other. During the summertime, lots of pairs of birds around. Oh, there are just so many more elephants arriving here. I think this might be the theme for today. Everyone, I'm definitely not complaining. I hope everyone else is going to enjoy the Ellie action today. We often speak about elephants being such graceful animals, and they usually are, but when it comes to the water holes is when they sort of start to look a little bit clumsy, probably the only time. And I do chuckle to myself seeing the way they sort of sit down, slide down, move around, face plant. Two younger bulls here having a bit of a tussle. Also love the sounds when these two elephants do it. You could hear those tusks hit against each other. It really is young teenage boys being teenage boys. And it's all learning and practicing for one day when they may have to battle it out with one of the very big, large bulls of the area. But for now, it's more just play fighting.
Good afternoon and welcome to WildEarth's Bush Hub here in the Western Kruger. My name is James Henry, Gerrit is on camera, and over the next 30 minutes we're going to look at the highlights that took place in the field over the last 24 hours. We'll have a look at yesterday afternoon's sunset safari, this morning's sunrise safari, with an eye to planning this afternoon's activities in the field. This is On Safari.
Princess May, hello. You are asking, does the heat make Ellie bulls in must more irritable? Not actually particularly pondered that point, May, but I don't think so. And I say that because the heat is something that these elephants are very much accustomed to. Although the heat definitely makes me more irritable, I think elephant bulls and even females, I mean, the heat, they all exposed to the same climate or temperatures every day, depending, of course, which reserve they're in. But I don't know of a direct correlation between heat and irritability of elephant bulls and must. But I think they definitely, seek out shade, seek out cooling themselves down when they are warm. And I've also seen very irritated bulls when it's rather cool weather. So I don't have a 100% definite answer for you, May. I will check, like I said, if there's any direct correlation. But as far as I know, because the heat and the outdoor elements is something that these animals live with each and every day. And so the weather per se doesn't necessarily mean, especially heat, mean that they become more irritated. They may, for example, there are certain weather conditions that do affect elephant behavior. When things are windier, often we find them a little bit more aware and a little bit more, I wouldn't say irritable, but more on edge, let me put it that way. Then when it's sort of raining and cool, we find that the elephants don't come to the waterhole so much. They stay more in the thicker bush because it's cooler. They don't need to come out. So there are behavioral effects from the heat of the day or the weather conditions, but I wouldn't necessarily say that the bulls become more irritable. Petite, it is indeed. And it is something that I know we often asked about. Oh my word, look at that elephant. Also trying to have some fun. Um, you say it's good to see the bigger elephants get into the mud and water as well. And it is something that we've been asked. Well, I've been asked quite a few times regarding elephants and why does it seem that only the babies or the young ones get into the water and the mud like completely. And I always say it's not that the big ones don't, but it's just not as often. And I think it has a lot to do with the severity of the heat. So on a day like today, I think it is very warm. I know it's already warm in the low felt, and we're sort of experiencing a bit of a heat wave across the central parts of South Africa at the moment. And I know we're getting to about 40 degrees on Saturday here in the low felt. So the heat is building one day at a time. And when it just gets so hot, these elephants are like, all right, I need to get into the water now. And like I say, it's just a little bit more effort for the bigger elephants. Even they are capable. We can see this very large bull in the water at the moment, and some of the bigger females as well. But it's just that little bit more effort. So it's not something that they do all the time. But when the elements are what they are, we just find that need and that desire becomes too great and they just have to cool down. Sharon, hello. Thank you for sending through your question. You're asking, when an elephant rubs against a termite mound, do the termites bite the elephant? Um, it's a good question, Sharon. I'm not sure I've ever thought about that, but I'll tell you what I have observed, Sharon, and that is when elephants generally rub against termite mounds, it's termite mounds that are not necessarily, or part of it is not necessarily active. So what that means is that the termites aren't currently building in that particular spot, usually. So the elephant really wouldn't be affected too much by the termites, but should um, the the termite mound be active, particularly in the summertime, is when there's a lot more plant material around, and the termites that build these very large termite mounds, which are big enough for the elephants to rub against, they are busy building their mounds bigger, and that all has to do with the ventilation and things like that in order to um, aerate the termite mound and keep the temperature consistent. It's quite amazing, and that's a whole another thing to research and talk about, which is incredible. Um, but for if let's say that the elephant comes and actually breaks a bit of the termite mound, so part of the outside is rubbed off or broken open, if that termite mound is active, the termite mounds will come, and you've got the workers or those that actually start repairing the mound, and immediately they'll start fixing it, which is quite amazing to see. And I've actually seen that happen with hornbills, and the yellow-billed hornbills in particular will sometimes break open the mound to eat the termites. And the next day, driving past the same termite mound, you can see the fresh bits of mud that have been built and cover up those holes which were broken open. So I don't think they're going to bite the elephant. I also don't know if they bite, the soldier's bite would be strong enough. Um, but who knows? I mean, there may be one brave little termite that's definitely trying to bite an elephant before. But for the most part, you won't see the elephants being really affected by an active termite mound if they did choose to rub up against it.
This is On Safari. Now remember, this is live and interactive, so we'd love to hear from you.
To be having these incredible experiences in this wild underwater forest.
It was just one of those things which I don't think I'll ever see again in my life.
Thanks for joining us on our Sunrise Safari.
It's moments like this that make me really feel like three's a crowd. I'm not sure what this third elephant is trying to join in here for. Maybe feeling a little bit left out. Oh, and the two little ones are playing here as well. Oh, sweet. Anyone who wanted some cute things on Valentine's Day, that is the answer. Oh, look at that, everybody. Oh, sweet. It always amazes me how there was clear communication here, even if we didn't hear it by this family group of elephants moving past us. That matriarch said it's time to move off. Play time ended, and now they're heading away. And it really is amazing to see these things out here in the wild. Mike, you want to know how long they'll spend here at the Waterhole? Mike, it really does depend. There's no exact answer to that question. Usually you see elephant groups spending about 20 minutes at a waterhole if they come down and drink, have a splash and leave. But these elephants here at Jamala seem to sometimes spend an eternity at the waterhole, especially some of the bigger elephant bulls. I've seen them here for an entire show once. So like 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. Whereas sometimes these little groups will stay about half an hour to 45 minutes or so. Sometimes they're not always drinking the entire time. There's the sort of the play time that they have in the water if it's a hot day. There's feeding that goes on. There's sometimes just resting around the waterhole. So the time is completely variable depending on a number of different conditions.
Out in the wild, life moves fast. To capture the action, you've got to be in the right spot at the wrong time. Now, incredible animal behavior selected from amazing amateur and professional footage to reveal the secret lives of animals in motion. This is raw nature, caught in the act.
Proudly say hello to you. You want to know why do I think that tusk poaching is not a big issue in South Africa? Um, I think what, firstly, the poaching efforts have definitely been, I'd say, maybe redirected towards the rhinos. Unfortunately, I mean, poaching in general, whether it's for elephant tusks or rhino horn, it's still something that is not good and very sad, and it needs to be counted, needs to be ended, and people need to be arrested, and things need to, we need to protect the animals, of course. But with regards to tusks, I suppose the elephants now are, in general, like I say, the poaching efforts have been redirected, but also the protection, the game reserves that we find elephants in. It's so much. There's so much effort being done to protect not only rhinos, but you know the benefits of increased security and anti-poaching efforts in South Africa to such a high degree means that not only are rhinos protected, but many other species, including elephants, also benefit from the fact that there's an increased level of feet on the ground and anti-poaching efforts. So I think it's a combination of things, SA, but I think we must always be aware that things could change. But for the most part, we're very grateful that elephant poaching numbers are nowhere near close to other parts of Africa. And in general, the poaching numbers far lower than other species that we find across the continent. Now, I know we were looking for some cute action on Valentine's Day, but these two bulls, although I suppose they're not necessarily being too affectionate with one another, it does look quite sweet the way they were leaning their heads against one another, and their trunks are sort of wrapping around each other. right, everyone. Well, the Ellies are around everywhere. Let's head over to GMAP to see what's happening over there. And here we have a mom and calf who have come down for a lovely cool drink of water today. Oh, hello, little one. So what we often see with baby elephants who haven't quite mastered the art of using their trunk yet, they need to put their whole mouth into the water to be able to drink until they get that skill, which can happen really, it depends on each elephant itself individually. It'll probably try there to use its trunk, but maybe until about a year it will still be learning the art of using it for various things, not only drinking. Also seems to be a little starling having a water bath just in front of that female elephant. A few others now also coming to join at the waterhole. I wonder if there's more around, if we'll be seeing more Ellies at Juma today. Very, very possible, as I said, with the heat. Fish and chips. Oh, now I am keen for that for lunch. I don't know how Tadiba feels about fish and chips. But anyway, taking your youngster to the watering hole day. It does seem to be the theme today for sure. Luckily, we get to see it happen. let's head back over to Jamala. Well, the Ellies moved off there at Juma, but these ones are still having a lot of fun here. These bulls still playing around in the waterhole.
WildEarth Travel, in association with Wandering Through, is offering some exclusive, privately guided safaris in 2024. James is taking a trip into the famed woodlands of the mysterious White Lion, Ngala Private Game Reserve, in July. Steve and Cedric will lead a safari to Chitwa Chitwa in November. To book, email travel@wildearth.tv or go to the website for more information. We are looking forward to seeing you on safari.
park themselves in the water and sit there doing nothing. And that's probably more my style of relaxing in a mud bath. Although these Ellies do have a lot of fun. I feel like it must be quite tiring to move around all the time and splash about. I mean, it must absorb quite a bit of heat from the atmosphere. And by the end of the day, it must be a very warm sort of mush of mud, which doesn't sound very attractive at all. I am hoping that we get to see a few of the other animals come by here, such as zebra. They're always so beautiful to see come down to Jamala. Even some wildebeest impala, maybe the odd buffalo. On such a warm day, I would be surprised if we didn't see them. Speaking of, there are some zebra, although it is always a little bit tricky when they try and come down to the water with the elephants around. There's some warthogs as well being chased by that young elephant. Oh my word. Endless entertainment at the Waterhole. I think that's some mom and some piglets there on the right. Also hoping to get down to the water, but that little one there is just not having it. Look, it's gonna go again. Oh, you are so big and so strong, little elephant. Can just see those mannerisms typical of these little young ellies to flip their ears forward like that and make their heads look a lot bigger. You can see it's got one foot up, its trunk is all the way forward, sniffing the little warthogs. Oh, there they're running. But I tell you what, if any of those warthogs turned and ran towards it, it would fly off towards Mom. I think the bigger Ellie is now also a little bit sort of worrying about the zebra as well as the warthogs. Like I said, with the heat, these animals just need to get some water, and they eventually will. I just have to wait for the elephants to give them some space. It's definitely not even all the elephants. I mean, there's a whole bunch there under the tree that are not worried whatsoever. But there are one or two young males that enjoy throwing their weight around a bit.
to freedom is irreversible.
We raise our hands and we say, we will be free!
Great mass of South Africans denied their humanity.
It's interesting to notice, particularly when things like antelope or zebra come down to drink. Often they point their ears back like that. And it's because their heads are down and their eyes are forward. And they use their very strong asset in the sense of hearing to check for anything behind them or around them. As of course they can't see behind them while they're drinking. Now we have a beautiful male impala. I love when their coats go a deep, deep brown, sort of auburnish color. And some more elephants are on the way. That's nice to see. We have a whole nother herd under the tree, the fig tree there. So plenty happening around Jamala today. I have a whole group here that have decided to do some resting in the shade of this beautiful fig tree. And it looks like a big Ellie bull is now coming out from there towards the water. And often elephant herds will do this in the heat of the day or certain times when it's really warm. And the little ones just need to lie down. So I think there may be one or two that are lying down in between there. And it just gives them a chance to recover, get some energy. Of course, the baby elephants definitely can't walk or last as long as some of the adult elephants. And they just need to give them time to have a snooze, cool down, relax a little bit, and then they'll move on to whatever matriarch decides is next, whether they actually end up coming to the water again or start to feed, whatever they choose to do next. Resting is part of an elephant's daily routine. Ooh, Tadiwa has actually just asked me a very interesting question with regards to these elephant herds waiting there in the shade. Now, it's very clear that they have decided to come to the water. And so, were they waiting there purposefully for a gap or a chance to come through to the water because it was quite busy? That is possible. However, I think the matriarch knew that she had decided that it was a time of rest. Those little ones were looking tired, and maybe the waterhole was a little bit busy, so they said, okay, well, we'll just chill here and rest it out. And then once we're ready to go, you could see there was a little bit more movement. The little ones were starting to stand up. And now the matriarchs decided that it's time. There was a clear instruction and they're all going to head there now. Let's just see how busy the Waterhole is, because I think that it's more, there is space for everyone. I think that if these arrive now and start coming into the water, we may find the ones that have been there for a while moving off, instead of them waiting for the others to leave, but rather, okay, we're coming now. And so there's sort of that understanding that we often see between elephants, where ones will actually give way for the others or limit their time at the smaller water holes so that the others can then come through in a shorter time frame. But it is very busy here at the moment, so I don't know if there was any sort of watching and waiting for when there was a quieter time for them in particular. The one group did move off already. They sort of under the tree on the left-hand side of the waterhole resting, but they came from the water and rested, whereas this group looked like they rested first and then came through to the water. Well, it is still so busy here with all these elephants that have arrived. A few are splashing away, having a lot of fun. And we really have had Ellie action all morning, well into the afternoon. And I don't think it's going to end anytime soon either. Just a reminder to you all that in a few minutes' time, we will be joined by Africa. So if you are watching on our YouTube stream, please make sure that if you'd like to continue watching, that you head on over to the WildEarth app or on our website. If you're in the UK, you can watch on Freeview or TV channel on 8-3. Yes, Mr. Elephant. It's some very exciting stuff. I can see the shadow of a bird of prey circling around the waterhole every now and again. But unfortunately, there it goes. I'm not quite at the level to be able to ID birds from shadow, although that would be pretty impressive, I must say.